Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Murphy and team.
Good morning. So it's 9:30. I like to get started on time. I know we don't have a quorum yet, so I'll wait as other people join to talk about minutes and things like that. But I'd like to get started in respect for everybody's time. We'll do a roll call here. Actually, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6, me 7. So we only need one more member and then I can do the minutes. But thank you everybody for coming together this morning. One of the things I wanted to talk about and give you an update on is the supraglottic pilot program. We had presented it again to CMAC this last time, and what happened was they wanted a 2-week advisory comment session to see if anybody had anything they wanted to add, anybody wanted to change anything. And thus far, the main things that have come in have been just people inquiring, when are we going to get the approval to do the project? So I'm circling back with the DOH and the Bureau just to see, because it should be fine now. It's really closer to a month. And basically the project, has gained a lot of interest. There's people, all across the state that want to be involved in this. So, I think everyone's as anxious as we are. So I will, hopefully before the next meeting we have this ready to go and have it off the ground. It's been a long time in coming, but unfortunately we have to work within the confines of what we have. Any comments or concerns? Jeff, do we have a quorum yet?
No, we don't.
Okay, so I'll continue on. Up next is the SLAMs that we put out on an advisory and a training. Do we have an update on that? Is David or Michael on the line?
David is currently joining.
Okay.
And I'm online. The only thing that we really still need to do with SLAMs is the designations for the hospitals and the process to follow. I don't know, Karen, did that go out to everybody?
Did what go out to everybody?
Sorry?
What go out to everybody?
The process that was to be addressed here today. And if not, I can share my screen and we can just do it right now. And so the REMAX, can you all see my screen? No, wait, that's the. Stand by here, too many different screens going on. Okay, do you see a draft document that says Hudson HVREMSCO stroke designation?
Yes.
Okay, and so what this really says is that this is just a process for hospitals to follow. It says for hospitals that provide interventional stroke services and intend on receiving patients from EMS that may require a thrombectomy, we request that the hospital CEO provide a letter to the REMSCO with the following specific details. 1, that said facility has 24/7, 365 capability to provide endovascular treatment for ischemic stroke. 2, that said facility is planning on obtaining thrombectomy or comprehensive stroke center certification. Period. Include the planned certification agency and date. Period. If the facility is already certified, then the current certification information should be provided. Period. The Hudson Valley REMSCO will maintain a list of interventional stroke services on their website. And so the REMAC needs to approve that if you get a quorum. So it's just a process that hospitals would follow to be added to the website.
Michael? Michael,
Yes, ma'am.
I think that you put that on our letterhead and Pam said to send it out. So I think
Okay, so-
didn't I send that out the other day?
No, that was what you sent out the other day was the updated protocol training.
Oh, okay, all right, I'm confused.
So it's
Unless you
basically-
sent this, I don't think you sent this out because this needed to be approved by REMAC today.
Yeah, no, it wasn't what was out, but it's basically what we're trying to find out is exactly who has these capabilities, and so that we can have the information for our pre-hospital providers. And so we're requesting people to update us with what's going on. So we have, let's see. So we should have 8 now, Jeffrey.
Okay. I'll trust your counting skills.
So what we need to do is, you know, I'll make a recommendation that we send this out and broadcast it out so that each hospital provides us with this information so that we can bring together a comprehensive list of what's going on in our area and try to keep it updated. We'll be responsible for that so that we can, you know, provide the pre-hospital people with the ability to know where to go and how, you know, and who has the thrombectomy and the, you know, invasive endovascular system so that we can, you know, provide them with the place that's closest to them or that they have to get to. So I would make a motion that we approve this to send out. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any abstentions? Okay, so passes. So now, you know, we definitely have a quorum. Can I ask for an approval of the minutes in the packet that was sent out? There was attachment of our minutes from our last meeting. I didn't see any glaring changes or processes that I would make any comments on. And if I could have an approval for the minutes or if anybody has any discussion. Crickets. Any motion to approve?
Motion.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you. So we can, Michael, then send that advisory out, or sorry, that notice out, and we'll get back the information hopefully from everybody and move forward. And anything else from SLAMs, Mike, or that's really it? That's where we're at next.
That was the last piece of it. So we're in good shape now.
Okay, great.
Thank
One
you.
question I had, Pam, regarding SLAMs is I saw in the documents that went out for this current meeting that Danbury had also submitted an application. So how do we think about that sort of interstate boundary? Let's say you happen to be in Patterson at the diner and like whatever, that
Yeah.
thrombectomy capable center is right there.
Yeah, so that's what I had said because we talked about, and Bill unfortunately is not on the call today, but we talked about the same thing with Northern Jersey because you know there's thrombectomy centers right on our border. So you know they go there. Like he was telling me because he does Rockland calls, and he was telling me that they go into Jersey at times. So you know I guess. Because it's the closest center you can go. I always thought, you know, it's a problem with our insurance and things like that. When you're in a hospital, it's in a different state, especially if you have Medicare or Medicaid, you know, Medicare, especially with our elder population. However, I guess we should just get them to the closest facility. However, you know, they have to have an agreement, right, to cross over the line and to go to another hospital. Because like Sharon Hospital in our REMAC, they, you know, work with us to come across from Sharon into New York State because it's the closest, you know, there. So I think it's a relationship they have to have worked out initially, and then, you know, really informed to the REMAC, not that we approve it.
Yeah, when I occasionally do shifts at Sharon, so there's always cross traffic from New York coming in 911, like Millerton, New York. It's, you know, there are all those villages that are right on the border coming to Sharon. There's no real agreements. It's just the closest hospital, and that's sort of the culture of EMS to do that. So if there's no any regulatory barriers, I just think it's an educational point worth bringing up with our providers, just to, you know, so there isn't confusion around that topic. If that happens to be the closest thrombectomy capable, that, you know, they should go there.
Well, what I'll
And
do,
also
go ahead.
but just also remember that, you know, this decision is made with medical control. The way the SLAMs is put up or developed is that they always contact medical control to discuss destination with the medical control physician. So as long as our medical control docs are aware of that, that should be helpful as well.
And what I'll do, Dr. Ashad, I will investigate it a bit. I'll do some research into the legal aspect of it and see, but I've never been told that there was, it just had to be like an agreement that people had with that agency going across the state line to that hospital. But I'll do some research. I wrote myself a little note.
Cool.
You know, in Westchester, we have the same situation. I mean, we're, you know, right on the border of Connecticut, and Greenwich Hospital is definitely right there. And, you know, actually, technically, Greenwich Hospital is supposed to be on our REMAC. Now, it's been years since they've actually ever sent a representative or participated, but, you know, we do have an official agreements with them, and I mean, certainly that's what we've done with trauma. You know, we've, you know, gone well, probably both ways, but they certainly delivered Connecticut patients to our trauma centers. So
Yeah, that's the way I felt it was too, you know, but I think that, you know, I can't speak to, is there official thing, but I thought it was just a letter because we talked about this, you know, when we did the whole thing with Sharon Hospital. I remember that, you know, and I don't know, that's what just sticks in my mind. But thank you, Eric. Oh, we got some comments in the chat. Oh, yep. Okay, so what we'll do, hold on, I want to close out this pop-up. Next on the agenda is looking at some service upgrades. And so we have basically no upgrades per se, but I have a few notifications I wanted to, oh, I lied, there's two. We have Monroe Volunteer Ambulance Corps is adding on CPAP, and Maury's Camp, wherever that is, has become a pad site. And these were approved and sent on to the state June 13th. So I have a few letters from outside of the hospital, but what I'll do is I'll save those for after people do their reporting. Dr. Ashad, any reports for evaluation subcommittee?
Negative.
I didn't think so, but I always want to check. So DOH enforcement, I have quite a few this morning. I'll read through them for you. First is Mark Blackburn out of Jerry, New York, has a violation of Part 800 and has surrendered his certification. Kevin Coronel out of Yaphank, New York, voluntarily surrendered his certification for a violation of Part 800. Harris Chrome out of Lake Grove, New York, assessed a civil penalty of $2,000 and suspended for 1 year for violations of Part 800. Navarro Crossman out of the Bronx is suspended for 1 year and assessed a civil penalty of $500 for violations of Part 800. William Giard out of Hoosick Falls, New York, is issued a formal reprimand, and he's placed on probation until his current certificate expires in 2022, and assessed a penalty of $500 for violations of Part 800. And this is the first time I've seen this. The Long Beach Fire Department for the city of Long Beach is assessed a civil penalty of $2,000 for violations of Part 80 and 800. And an ongoing investigation is still occurring. Andrew Weiss out of Patterson, New York, is summarily suspended effective April 5th, and that's for violations of Part 800. Salvatore Viola out of Whitestone, New York, is suspended for 1 year. The suspension is stayed, but placed on probation for 3 years, assessed a penalty of $2,500 for violations of Part 800. Wow, a lot of violations of Part 800, very many subsets of the ruling, but he's placed on probation now for 3 years. So that's all the DOH notifications. Sorry, there were so many. We garnered a lot in this last quarter. Helicopter committee report, Dr. Larson and Dr. Stumiller.
Good morning. We met this morning and discussed 3 items. The first was regarding blood products in our ambulances. No one on the committee has heard any update from the most recent bill passed that amended the original bill, which stated the SEMSCO and the Bureau of EMS will promulgate rules and regulations that need to be met in order for air ambulances to carry blood. And so that process will unfold at the speed of state government. The second issue we discussed was an issue that occurred over one weekend this past quarter, where 3 flights came into White Plains Airport and 60 Control 911 was called to complete the ground ambulance component of those air ambulance transports to the hospital. 2 were fixed wing, which require a ground transport. The third was a precautionary landing by a rotor wing aircraft that then needed ground ambulance transport to complete. The issue was understood as an error by Air Methods Communications in not processing through the already contracted ground ambulance entity. And that has been made more robust within Air Methods Communications so that hopefully everyone will know the correct process. And so that issue was closed pending recurrence. And the third issue that we discussed was the challenge in identifying scene stroke LVO screening positive patients because no air ambulance PCR or ground ambulance PCR for that matter has an easy way to identify this is a potential LVO positive patient. And so either we on the air ambulance side or the stroke coordinators at the hospitals have to manually look at charts that they become aware of as possible LVO patients in order to read those charts through thoroughly and mine data and come up with numbers. So everyone is going to be hopefully designing a process to identify those patients so we can understand the air ambulance use for LVO moving forward.
Okay, thank you. I think that, that ability to determine, a large vessel occlusion is always going to be something to haunt us, right? We're going to try to do the best thing we can. Eric, did you have anything to add?
No. Yeah, again, there's just the aspects that we talked about in the helicopter committee, that there's sort of two ends to this thing. And one is, the scene call response, because there's an appropriate medical call, in this case, a appropriate stroke. And just trying to follow that and see if, a good call was made on the ground, and trying to get some follow-up that, just to, certainly validate the use of, an important but expensive asset. But also, it also affects our ground crews too, in that, if they transport patients out of their catchment area and bypass hospitals and stuff like that, that takes them out of. So that sort of response to the scene, we got to figure out some ways to evaluate that. And then the secondary aspect is that very often the air medical assets are called in to secondarily transport a patient from a hospital to a higher level of care. In this case, again, focusing on stroke, to a higher level of stroke care. And again, could that patient have been better served immediately taking them to a stroke center? Did that secondary transport, was that appropriate? So all those things that are out there, we need to, try to see how we can get a handle on it, so we can get a better idea of how we can use our resources to the best of ability, and really, like in stroke and all these things, make the best outcome for the patients.
Thank you. Any comments? Any questions for the committees? Eric, it's up next to you for RTAC. Did RTAC have a meeting since our last REMAC?
Yeah, they did. I was not on it. I was hoping, I don't know, I don't see.
Yeah, usually Bill will give us an update. Bill's not on today. Jeff, did you?
Yeah, or Frank Quintero, and I don't see Frank on today either.
Okay.
So.
Did Bill leave anything with you, Jeff, for the RTAC? Any info?
Bill did not.
Okay, no problem. No problem. So we'll table that and bring that forward next meeting. Quality improvement, Jeff.
Okay, a couple months ago, we had a 2-day work session in the Finger Lakes to update the current New York State data dictionary, cleared up some of the language and validation rules, and also started working towards the implementation of NEMSIS 3.5, which should take place probably mid-2023. Other than that, have been fulfilling agency requests for data, along with one hefty data request from Nuvance. And that's really about it.
And how have we been doing with getting numbers of EPCRs in? Still a good volume?
It's a very good volume. Still working with some vendor issues. Zoll in particular has still been problematic. One of the issues that they have is commercial agencies that use the full suite, with the dispatch being integrated into the charting. We had one agency that had their dispatch console updated, which caused issues on the other side. And that's totally a Zoll issue. Agencies have been working to get that rectified. And it's still a struggle. Still having ongoing issues with the ESO, not seeing all of the charts come out of the agencies. They still don't know why. I do have an ESO bridge that I can go to see all the missing charts, but it's a struggle to figure out which charts are missing. Agencies that use sequential numbering, it's not a problem. Agencies that use random number charting, I don't know if they're missing or how many are missing. And that's something that I have talked to Peter about fixing. Don't know if we're going to be able to do that or not. I would like to see all agencies use sequential numbering, but.
He's been very supportive though for this project and trying to get it really cohesive and making sure we collect as much data as possible.
Well, yeah, because he works on a grant that is funded by the numbers. So yeah, he has a vested interest.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a positive thing, so that hopefully we can get some action and have it move forward. and continue to improve because it's done great since the beginning.
Yes, it has. And for anyone that hasn't looked at our dashboard off of our website, I would invite them to please do so.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Protocol Committee, Mr. Beninati.
Okay, good morning. A updated protocol training letter went out last week or 2 weeks ago. So just make sure that all the providers as well as medical control physicians take an opportunity to look at that. Unfortunately, we no longer have constant contact. And so therefore the ability for the region to send it out massively to all of our providers is no longer there. So widespread distribution, if you got that email, if you can forward that out to other folks, that's unfortunately the only way that we can get that message out. And then we'll have to wait for Bill to get back, but at one of our protocol meetings, Bill discussed a letter that the Bureau wrote to Suffolk County regarding the authority of the regions to credential. So we'll just have to put that on the back burner until Bill is present to report on it. And I have nothing else. Thank you.
That was, again, the letter from Suffolk, correct me if I'm wrong, was similar to what happened to us with when ambulance wanted to push through their CON, right? Wasn't that the same time? So
Same idea, I think, but this one actually dealt with credentialing itself.
Okay, so what Mike's alluding to is the Bureau is saying that the local REMAX, the regional REMAX, do not have the ability to say whether somebody's credentialed or limit their ability to practice. And that, how did the words go, Mike, exactly? It was like, we're not legally the responsible party for that.
Yeah, and I don't recall specifically, and I don't have a copy of it, unfortunately, to read it.
Yeah, it was interesting, guys, because I think that's what we've always felt the premise was of our organization. As a regional advisory committee, we're here to provide the guidance and the medical direction that people need and require. And sometimes it's going to be tailored for a local area dependent upon where we are located. But it was interesting. And so Suffolk just received this letter because I think they were working with something with the credentialing of one provider, and the provider took it to the state. And so they're siding on the side of the provider, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so we'll have to just stay tuned on this.
Yeah, because it's very interesting. So I wanted to show the letter and the update. I'm going to try to share my screen, Mike. I don't know if this is going to work. Okay, do you guys see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is a letter y'all would have received, and basically, it's regarding our collaborative protocols, and we talked about this at CMAC, and what I want to point out here in the very first paragraph, if you see my pointer, I really recommend everybody put out that everyone reviews this YouTube video. Dr. Daly did a very nice presentation of the changes. He narrated it with the PowerPoint to show where the changes have occurred and why. He talks about, then the style, the way the collaborative protocols are written up, the language. There's no longer numbers for each protocol, and the typeface has been made and the font very consistent. So each one of these things was changed and kind of modified in a wordsmithing process to make it more uniform, and that everything is in the right places. Created new sections under cardiac, environmental, and shock, and trauma shock is found in the two sections of trauma and shock. Some changes consistent with the American Heart Association, the lower limit of pulse oximetry changed to 92 from 94, the setting of bradycardia, and you can read this thing going on, but this is what was sent out. I really recommend, again, this video that Mike did. It's very good. And this way, people can see exactly what we're emphasizing and what's out there. So I'm going to stop sharing again. And then the rest of CMAC, Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong. We focused on, approval of different protocols. We're still going back and forth on some of the things from New York State and trying to devise a protocol for pandemics. Everybody keeps pushing it more towards the COVID aspect, and we really want it to be more of a universal protocol for pandemics. So these things are being worked on. They talked about some new hires in the Bureau. And again, they mentioned, the supraglottic pilot program, like I said. And anything else, Mike? I can't think of anything else that comes to mind.
I defer to David. I was remote for that meeting. Dave, is there anything that she missed?
No, I don't believe so. I think we also sent out the meeting minutes through NYSVERA so everyone could take a read through all of them too. So if for some reason we missed something, it should be out in there as well.
It was just so long ago. This meeting was back in April. So this morning I'm like, oh gosh, where are my notes from that? And I swear to God, all I could find was this collaborative protocol stuff we did and other things. But that was the gist of it. We spent a lot of time arguing about the protocols and getting them, not our protocols, New York City, and getting them approved and through the system. So it kind of was, it became pretty annoying. They pushed off, our next meeting was supposed to be this month. They pushed it off till July. So that'll be coming up in July. And I think that's about it from CMAC. So under new business, I'm going to read a few letters that came into the department, just so we have, everybody have the notification. So first, we have from the director at Putnam Hospital that, and well as the EMS director there, has stepped down. Dr. DeThomas used to be there. And will be the new person taking over August 15th will be Dr. Ajbani. And so they were, resigning their position on the REMAC committee. So one change at Putnam Hospital. Then we got a notification that the effective June 7th, the Mid-Hudson Regional Hospital in Poughkeepsie will have the ability to provide endovascular treatment for ischemic stroke. So it is very apropos to our discussion earlier, and they are planning on obtaining a comprehensive thrombectomy capable center through DNV, hopefully by April of 2023. I don't know, Mark, if you wanted to say anything else about the program or anything?
No, we're up and running 24/7. Should be, today's really day one of 24/7. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, that's great. Then we got a notice from Danbury Hospital. The Joint Commission has designated them, I've never heard of this before, but disease-specific care certification. Sorry guys, I don't know what that means, but they sent us in this letter. So it's a certification from Joint Commission that they are certified as of March. And if you wish to look at it, you can look at it on the public line, but they've granted a certification for them for disease-specific care certification. Sorry, I don't know what it means, but that's what came through from Joint Commission about Danbury Hospital. Okay, that's all my new business. Anybody have anything for open forum?
Hey Pam, I just have one thing. Dave Grass reminded me that there was some discussion about the American College of Surgeons coming up with a new field triage program. I can share that link in the chat for folks. I can also show it on my screen. I don't remember the resolution of that though. Is that just something that they were going to continue talking about?
That just came out. Let me go to my emails. It came out from the Bureau this morning. And what it is, changing the guideline for field triage of injured patients. And so the, ACS has released updated trauma triage guidelines. So they were going to accept them. But they sent out a boardable account from New York State DOH for people to look at them and discuss them. I have it too, and do you have it, Mike, or David or Mike, that we could send on to everybody? It came from the Bureau, came at 9:18 or 9:08 this morning.
I just put the link to what it looks like in the chat so folks could click on that and then follow that up. I could show it on the screen and or send out the PDF that's there also, if you'd like.
You share it on the screen right now, Mike. Sorry, David.
That's okay. We kind of wear the same hat. We have a little bit of the same look. Although his hair is a little more gray. I think I have more actual hair than he does. So that's the only difference.
Stop it. I'm just around you too much.
There you go.
Yeah. So I think some of the biggest, they were kind of renaming some of this and really had some specific things in the red criteria and in the yellow criteria, looking at mechanism of injury, trying to provide people with, viable injury patterns and things to look for to really say that this person should go to the highest level of a trauma center within the geographic constraints, as it says there. But everybody can read it. There's what Mike said, there's a good discussion about it, and people have started to post things about it. And so this came from the American College of Surgeons, for field triage. And what we can do, what I'll do, Karen, I'll send you the link. You should have got, or Bill should have gotten it. If Bill didn't get it, I'll send you the link and you can send it out to all members of the committee because it comes from New York State Boardable. And they sent it out this morning so everybody could look at it and comment back.
Okay.
I'll make sure everybody gets it.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else in open forum?
Yeah, I have a couple things. One, if you go to the site for qualified Connecticut stroke centers, you can see all the status of all the different stroke centers. Okay, so we issued that to all of our folks in Westchester. So it's you just go for qualified Connecticut stroke centers. You can look that up online, and they basically, it's an official site, and they just list everything and the status of all of their centers that are also certified by national accreditation organizations. So they're kind of along the same line. And along those lines, that White Plains Hospital is also opening up for thrombectomy capable. And so it will be 24/7, 365, and is going for full accreditation through a certified national organization.
Yeah, we had a new CEO start the beginning of this year at Garnet. And Westchester invited us down to see their stroke center. It's pretty impressive. Those biplane machines, I was just like blown away at that whole setup. It's amazing, that lab down there. And then they showed me the room where you keep all the catheters and all the equipment. It's like a $4 million room, of equipment. It was pretty interesting. The gentleman there, and his name is escaping me, was extremely friendly and nice. He gave us a whole process through. It was really well done. Great setup.
So maybe Jeff, can you maybe put the link to the Connecticut as well as the New York right there where you're going to start listing the regionally approved ones? And at this point too, then Dr. Larson, just make sure that they get the letter in, and then Jeff can certainly get Mid-Hudson up on that website as well.
Yep, I can take care of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, the one thing that's gonna be an issue here is that we keep it up to date and we keep adding people on that, have, advanced to a certain level and their, ability to go on to a comprehensive or, full thrombectomy center. So we just have to make sure we update all that information for everyone. Anything else in open forum? This is gonna be a record of the fastest meeting I ever did.
I have a question regarding some of the CMAC notes that it made mention of TXA and deferring to regional policies. Is it something that we want to reconsider in the Hudson Valley?
So I had brought it to our local agencies here, and the only caveat there, Dr. Ashad, is that it can be started in the field, but it's got to be contiguous with a trauma team right behind it. So that was the only caveat that I found that really is something you can't just do it in the field and then drop it. So it has to be a real uniform and united process that we inform each other, we work together, and it gets continued on. So sure, I think, it's a thing where we can bring it to protocol committee and talk about locally all the people, but I brought it forward to the local agencies here already to try to move it forward because our trauma team likes it.
I think also it has to go through RTAC. It has to be accepted and approved through the RTAC as well.
Yeah, they definitely had problems with it at one point. I don't remember what the exact verbiage was, but it was definitely slowed down because of them. There was some controversy about that contiguous nature of it and would it occur in a timely fashion. So I think that was the discussion.
Should also, maybe Karen, you can ask Bill, but it seems like we've had a disconnect from RTAC and REMAC again. We used to get notified of those meetings, and I haven't seen anything from them in quite some time. So certainly we should get that link back together. And this is certainly a topic we can discuss jointly with them.
Yeah, this is Rich. I was supposed to be on that link and I didn't get anything about the last RTAC meeting either.
I didn't
So
get
we'll
a
investigate that to see. Thank you, Karen. All right, any other comments? Without hearing any, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn, and thank you, everybody. I know this was a pretty fast meeting, but efficient and fast. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks.